Hello dear students, this is Vishal sir. Today we are going to study chapter 13 from 9th standard NCERT syllabus. Let's read the lesson. When we do this exercise, we realize that health and disease in human communities are very complex issues with many interconnected causes. We also realize that the idea of what health and disease mean are themselves very complicated. When we ask what causes disease and how we prevent them, we have to begin by asking what this notion means. We have seen that cells are the basic unit of organisms. Cells are made up of variety of chemical substance, protein, carbohydrate, fats, lipids, and so on. Cell is a dynamic place. Something or the other is always happening inside them. Complex reactions and repairs goes on inside cell. New cells are being made. In our organs or tissues, there are various specialized activities going on. The heart is beating, lungs are breathing, kidney is filtering urine, and brain is thinking. All these activities are interconnected. For example, if the kidneys are not filtering urine, poisonous substance will accumulate. Under such conditions, the brain will not be able to think properly. For all these interconnected activities, energy and raw materials are needed. Food is a necessity for cell and tissue functions. Anything that prevents proper functioning of cell and tissues will lead to a lack of proper activity of the body. So dear students, our body works in a coordination. If the coordination has some problem or in any of the coordination there is a lack of coordination, then we may call that situation as illness. Health and its failure. The significance of health. That means the importance of health. We have heard the word health used quite frequently. We use it ourselves as well. When we say things like, my grandmother's health is not good, our teachers use it when they scold us saying, this is not a healthy attitude. What does the word health mean? If we think about it, we realize that it always implies the idea of being well. We can think of this well-being as effective functioning. So whenever we talk about a healthy situation or the situation related to health, that means the cells and the body organization should be in a coordination. Let's think about health according to different situations. For example, let's talk about grandmothers. For our grandmothers, being able to go out to market or visit neighbors is being well because she hasn't had to do much work at that age. But still, if her body functions normally at that old age, that means she is well. And not being able to do so, such situation is poor health. Being interested in following the teaching in the classroom so that we can understand the world is called a healthy attitude, while not being interested is called the opposite. Health is therefore a state of well enough to function well physically, mentally, and socially. So a person may be called healthy only if these three criteria are healthy. Personal and community issues both matter for health. If health means a state of physical, mental and social well-being, it cannot be something that each one of us can achieve entirely on our own. The health of all organisms will depend on their surrounding or their environment. The environment includes the physical environment. For example, the health is at risk in a cyclone in many ways. Human beings live in society. Our social environment therefore is an important factor in our individual health. We live in villages, towns or cities. In such places, even our physical environment is decided by our social environment. Consider what would happen if no agency is ensuring that garbage is collected and disposed. What will happen when the agency ignore the collection and disposing of garbage? Then the garbage will be collected in our surroundings. That will lead to an unhealthy environment where rodents, mosquitoes and germs which may bring epidemic like situations. So if there is a great deal of garbage thrown in our street, or if there is an open drain water lying stagnant around where we live, the possibility of poor health increases. Therefore, public cleanliness is important for individual health. We need food to be healthy, and this food will have to be earned by doing work. For this, opportunity to do work has to be available. We need to be happy in order to be truly healthy. And if we mistreat each other and are we afraid of each other, we cannot be happy or healthy. Social equality and harmony therefore necessary for individual health. We can think of many such examples of connection between community issues and individual health. Distinction between healthy and disease free. If this is what we mean by health, what do we mean by disease? The word is actually self-explanatory. We can think of it as disease, disturbed ease. Disease, in other words, literally means being uncomfortable. However, the word is used in more limited meaning. We talk of disease when we can find a specific and particular cause for discomfort. This does not mean that we have to know the absolute final cause. We can say that someone is suffering from diarrhea without knowing exactly what caused the loose motions. We can now easily see that it is possible to be in poor health without actually suffering from a particular disease. Simply, not being diseased is not same as being healthy. Good health for a dancer may mean being able to stretch his body in difficult but graceful position. On the other hand, good health for a musician may mean having enough breathing capacity in his or her lungs to control the notes from his or her flute. To have the opportunity to realize the unique potential in all of us is also necessary for real health. So, we can be in poor health without there being a simple cause in a form of an identifiable disease. This is the reason why when we think about health, we think about societies and communities. On the other hand, when we think about disease, we think about individual sufferers. Disease and its causes. What does disease look like? Let us now think a little more about disease. In the first place, how do we know that there is a disease? In other words, how do we know that there is something wrong with the body? There are many tissues in the body. These tissues make up physiological system or organ system that carry out body functions. Each of the organ system has specific organs as its part and it has particular function. So, the digestive system has a stomach and intestine and it helps to digest food taken in from outside the body. The musculoskeletal system, which is made up of bones and muscles, holds the body part together and help the body move. When there is a disease, either the functioning of one or more system of the body will change for the worse. These changes give rise to symptoms and signs of disease. Symptoms of the disease are the things we feel as being wrong. So, if we have a headache, we have cough, we have loose motion, we have a wound with pus, these are all symptoms. These indicate that there may be a disease, but they don't indicate what the disease is. The headache may mean just examination stress, or very rarely it may mean meningitis or any one of the dozen different diseases. Signs of disease are what physicians will look for on the basis of the symptoms. Signs will give a little more definite indication of the presence of particular disease. Physician will also get laboratory tests done to pinpoint the disease further. The diseases are categorized according to their effects, acute and chronic disease. The manifestation of disease will be different depending on the number of factors. Some disease last for a very short period of time and these are called acute disease. Examples may be common cold. Other ailments can last for a long time, even as much as a lifetime, and are called chronic disease. Infection causing elephantitis is an example of it. Chronic disease and poor health. Acute and chronic disease have different effects on our health. Any disease caused poor functioning of some part of the body will affect our health. This is because all functions of the body necessary for being healthy. But an acute disease which is over very soon will not have time to cause major effects on general health, while chronic disease will do so. An example, think about a cough and a cold, which all of us have from time to time. Most of us get better and become well within a week or so. and there are no lasting effect on our health. But if we get infected with a chronic disease such as tuberculosis of the lungs, then being ill over the year does make us lose weight and feel tired all the time. We may not go to school for a few days if we have an acute disease, but a chronic disease will make it difficult for us to follow what is being taught in school and reduce our ability to learn. In other words, we are likely to have prolonged general poor health if we have a chronic disease. Chronic disease therefore have a very drastic long-term effects on people's health as compared to disease. Causes of disease. What causes disease? When we think about cause of disease, we must remember that there are many levels of such cause. Let us look at an example. If there is a baby suffering from loose motion, we can say that the cause of the loose motion is probably an infection. But the next question is, where did the infection come from? Suppose we find that the infection came through the unclean drinking water. But many babies must have had this unclean drinking water. So why is it that one baby developed loose motion when the other babies did not? One reason may be that this baby is not healthy, as it might be more likely to have disease when exposed to risk, whereas healthier babies would not. Why is the baby not healthy? Perhaps because it is not well nourished and does not get enough food. So lack of good nutrition becomes a second cause of the disease. Further, why is the baby not well nourished? Perhaps it is from a household which is poor. So within these two paragraphs, we saw why the disease had occurred to a certain baby and not to the other babies. We came to a conclusion that it may be poor, and because of its poverty, it was not well nourished, which made his health deteriorate and that affected his health of diarrhea. It is also possible that a baby has some genetic difference that makes it more likely to suffer from loose motion when exposed to a pathogen. Without the pathogen, pathogens are harmful bacteria or microorganisms. The genetic difference or the poor nourishment alone would not lead to loose motion, but they do become contributory cause of the disease. Why was there no clean drinking water for the babies? Perhaps because the public service are poor where the baby's family live. So the poverty or lack of public service becomes a third cause of the baby's disease. It will now be obvious that all disease will have immediate cause and contributory cause. Also, most disease will have many causes rather than one single cause, infectious and non-infection causes. As we have seen, it is important to keep public health and community health factor in mind when we think about the causes of disease. We can take that approach a little further. It is useful to think of the immediate cause of the disease as belonging to two distinct types. One group of the cause is the infectious agents, mostly microbes or microorganisms. Disease where microbes are immediate cause are called infectious disease. This is because microbes can spread in the community and disease they cause will spread with them. On the other hand, there are also diseases that are not caused by infectious agent. Their causes vary, but they are not external causes like microbes that can spread in community. Instead, they are mostly internal, non-infectious causes. For example, some cancers are caused by genetic abnormalities. High blood pressure can be caused by excessive weight and lack of exercise. You can think of many other diseases where the immediate cause will not be infectious. The ways in which disease spread and the way in which they can be treated and prevented by the community level would be different for different disease. This would depend a lot on whether the immediate cause are infectious or non-infectious.